Say this is Farming Simulator 19, and we are once again on Estancia, Lapacho. And I need to remind myself where we got up to. Oh, hello. Field 12 has been cultivated. It has weeds on it. Then we need to plant something on it. So let's go check out the tractors. Okay, that's not going to let me beam over there. Oh, hi train, hi harvester. What are you doing? Oh, you're stuck in that shed. Okay. Oh, we have limed, we have weeded. Okay. Anybody got narrow wheels on? What are you doing? You just limed. Oh, we don't need... Yeah, no, we don't. Refresh the screen, and here we are. Okay, so since the weeds are down, but we haven't put any crop down, I can probably go in there and weed that field. How are we doing for lime? Oh, we have no lime. Okay. How are we doing for parking spaces? We can get one in there. Okay. This may take me a little bit of getting used to, because I've been driving with all the pedals pointing in the right direction. Now I have to do farm sim pedals which don't go in the right direction. My steering wheel is all loose and wibbly wobbly too. So, I'll put this back in the barn. And go and get that thing. That's empty. Let's place spot the herbicide. That would be that thing there. That's not a lot. It's not good. So under normal circumstances I would put narrow tyres on this thing before I go out in the field, but because we haven't got crop down, it's not important. To zoom out a little so I can see boom width. Okay, I need to take another look at that field. Fruit types, growth, weeds. We only actually got halfway through the lime. Huh. Darn. We actually ran out of lime. Okay. I need to go to the store. 75,000. So basically I need so much lime. Well, do I? Yes. I might as well fill this thing all the way up. So I have now loaded one mod that's not generally available on the mod hub, which is the date and time stamp at the top right of the screen. Been kind of missing that. And then today we got a JCB wheel loader and something else. I can't remember what the something else was. Legal trailer last week. Oh, the corn planter for corn and other stuff like that. Corn and sunflowers and sugar beets. I must say I hadn't actually noticed it not being there. I haven't checked to see when the next Farm Sim patch is going to come out. It does sound like whenever they do a patch, it resets the field, the keyboard bindings. So that's why I had to reset the keyboard settings last week. And we'll just have to see how it goes when they do the next patch. Okay, so back at the store. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I got a few. I also need at least one of those. That should be good for now, and I am probably very poor. 5,000. Okay, let's load this thing up. I might have bought 2.5 bags too many. That's 9,000. Okay, when I get a chance, I may come back with the Valtra and the flat trailer. Load those on the back. That's the only problem with where I picked to start, is it's a long way from the store. However, having watched is it Arthur and Kyle playing this film the other day, it does seem to me that the best choice you have is to go out and buy a really big field, just the one. And then with the proceeds, or with the value of that, you can get out a big loan with which to buy some equipment. And then see where you go from there. But this whole buying small fields lark is possibly not the greatest idea. Okay, coming up to field 12. I'll run over the back, start the line spreading from this end. I have a feeling this is more than a one-pass job. I guess we'll see when we get to the end how we did. Yeah, tiny bit on the edge. Turn round, plug this bit in. We'll go back to the beginning and do the last bit. Missed a bit. Goodness me. Pretty much half the field, and we've used a third of the tank. That's a lot. A bit there too, because why not? And done, and fold. So I'll leave that there for a while. We're going to put the sprayer up and start killing the weeds. Okay, what's that look like? Close enough. Let's see how quickly we can use all of this up. So I found the sprays are fairly efficient. They're not quite as fast as the spreaders. However, they do have, I believe, a lower usage. Okay, it's dead weeds. Stop. That's pretty much about right. Let's go. grief. Hi, Ursly, how you doing? I am, for the most part. There are some niggling issues. I mean, I know a lot of people have a lot of different issues, and I mean, day one I was frustrated as heck because I couldn't get the steering wheel and the keyboard working together. But once I figured out how to remap everything, that kind of, okay, I'll give the game a chance. But that first day it was sort of, seriously, I'm thinking about this being a bad idea and waiting, not playing until they've patched it. But nope, I'm liking it now well enough. There are some good things going for it. I mean, they changed the physics on the forks, pallet forks, which can be a little bit annoying, but once you figure out how they've been changed, it's actually quite a significant improvement over before. The trick is not to point the forks at the ground and then shake the tractor around until the thing drops off. And so it's, that's an improvement. The hand tool is vastly improved, even though I can't map it such that I can rotate what I'm holding. But the fact that I can pick up a trunk of a tree, or at least partial trunk of a tree, and go sprinting around the map with it and smash into other trees and hit the side of the trailer with the trunk of the tree, and I don't drop it, is a big improvement over Farm Sim 17. I think of the 3 maps we now have, they're not really my style. But you got to practice somewhere. I played Goldcrest for an age before I moved on to other maps. That's that one done. And we still had 66 litres left. Yay. So you playing Farm Sim yet, Owsley, or just watching everybody else? Drop that. Hi Bible, how you doing? Doing good. Actually spent the early evening, or earlier this evening, managed to get, what is it? Euro Truck Simulator configured and working for multiplayer. So it looks like we might be not doing World of Warships with Arthur on a Monday anymore, but we might be doing multiplayer truck sim. with more people. Customize that. Change it to that. It's done. Oh. Okay, I need to go and set this thing up. Soybeans are good. So I guess while that's going, we could skip the trip to market with the flatbed trailer. Take this with us instead. Oh, that's good, yeah. Yes, I haven't taken a look at trucks in yet. Because we just got this PC. Let me slow time down. We just got this PC over the summer, and so I'd installed lots of games and hadn't got round to configuring half of them. I am not having problems with the helpers so far. This map, let's enlarge the map. I own field 11 and 12, which are quite square, or rectangular, and so the helpers don't have too many problems with those. Geez, that was the wrong button to press. I mean, I don't think the helpers are much improved over before, so they're still generally okay if you're running a field that lies along north-south or directly east-west. And they're quite well behaved on fields on those orientations. It's when the field's diagonal or has chunks taken out of it that the helpers really don't do too well. Yeah, now you see on Fellsbrunn I did a starting from scratch farm, and as such I've been doing mostly contract work. Fortunately, none of the contracts got deleted when I selected them, which I've had problems with on Ravenport. And so I don't want to hire a helper when I'm getting paid to do the work and the pay isn't much more than a helper costs. I bought a field which has grass on it, and I'm waiting for the grass to grow. I bought my own tractor and I plan to mow that myself. So I don't foresee any issues at the moment on Fellsbrunn because I'm right at the back of the map where the fields are at the high elevation and all square again, and relatively flat. And the fact that the helpers are having problems on hills could be an issue because I got somewhere in the region of 500 hours on Lawfolds in Farm Sim 17. And that is quite a hilly map, and I have never had problems with helpers, except for the not square field issue. I am not. What's it on this map? Oh, yeah, actually, yes, directly opposite from the lumberyard on Fellsborough. Okay, let's get this thing filled up. Getting dark already. I do believe this field could be ready for harvest. Yes, it is. And it is light green. That's canola. Is it really? Okay. That's canola. I must admit, I haven't done much observation on where things like lumberyards and BGAs are. A lot of the stuff I've experienced so far is just arable farming. I bought chickens for this farm, and then it took about 24 game hours before the chickens started laying any eggs. Yes, Osgly, I am enjoying Farm Sim 19. First day I was almost ready to give up on it and just say I'm not coming back until they patch it, but for now I'm reasonably happy that I can do at least the basics. I haven't bothered with horses yet on any of my farms. This is my main streaming farm. I have got Ravenport. I started that on simple mode, and it's kind of my practice farm. I'm not streaming on it or doing anything public on it. It's actually a good plan though. Yeah, you've got to ride your horses for, I think it's 5 minutes a day at the moment. Although I hear rumours that they're going to change that to 10 minutes a day. So if you've got to ride the horse around, you might as well go and look for things. Yeah, I think the first patch, the problem I was having, I play with a G29 steering wheel and the Cytec side panel. The Cytec steering wheel just wasn't very well made and fell apart almost immediately. They sent me a replacement and that failed in exactly the same way, and so I bought the G29. And G29 and keyboard and mouse and Cytec side panel do not play well together on 19, sorry. And then when they gave us the first patch, having got everything configured so it was working reasonably well, the first patch completely reset everything again. That was frustrating. But since I'd already done it once, it didn't take me as long to do it a second time. Oh. Okay. You can go in next to the spray. I don't mind. I have messed that up. And it seems to me the horses look like a fairly good option for a low-cost startup. Cows and sheep can be kind of expensive by the looks of it. Okay. Oh, fine. You can go there. For now. I'll grab that one. Yeah, I figured I'd start with the chickens on this farm. Although, just putting the placeable downs is annoying as well. Because while they're flat, the ground you place them on isn't. And it seems that the placeable levels itself at the highest point of ground underneath it. Now you can lower it to some extent, but lowering excavates a load of dirt from underneath it, which adds to the cost of the placeable when you buy it. You either end up with huge giant cliffs to get into your barns and sheds, or you end up with a very expensive placeable. I see checking out some of the farm sim mod sites that people are modding Ravenport and Felsbrunn to create flat areas that you can put farm buildings on, so you don't have to worry about the land not being flat. That's probably a good idea. Because while yes, the maps look great, the placeable system is less than ideal. And I did like the roller from 17, which allowed you to select what it did. So you could lay a strip of gravel, concrete, tarmac, paving slabs, and then just lower the roller and drive along, and it would replace whatever was underneath it with what you had selected. And so on some of the farms I did early on, I was laying roads out to sort of flat areas, and then filling the flat area in with concrete and putting buildings on it and turning it into a fairly nice sort of vehicle storage yard. And they kind of need that in 19 very, very quickly. It's that, or you end up with, there's the easy start location, and if you want your farm to look right, you kind of need to put all your placeables there anyway. And that kind of defeats the point of, hey, start where you want and do what you want. It's a good concept. It's just not very well implemented initially, and I'm sure they can improve on it. It's just that it's a little bit half-assed to go in as it is. In a way, what you want to do is start on easy mode because all the farms placed for you. But the economy is easier in easy mode. Commodities, so stuff like wheat in easy mode, you're selling at $1,000 a litre, whereas on farm manager mode they're 700. And I think on start from scratch, it could be as low as 500 for things like wheat and what have you. And I mean, thinking about it, okay, if you place a shed, you want a shed to be flat. Sticking a shed on the side of a hill where the ground slopes, the shed leans at an awful angle, that's not an ideal thing. So you do need to be able to place a shed, level with, gravity, if you like. But something like a horse pen or a cow pen, sure, you want the buildings to be flat, but the fences, there's nothing in the world that says the fences have to be flat. They have to be vertical, but they don't have to be placed on flat ground. But that's something that the placeables in Farm Sim require. Now that's probably more complex to code, but it is slightly more realistic. We're nearly back now. We come to this is my shed, and you look close at the ground and there is a steep hill to get to the level of the shed. I think this isn't as bad, but it's still noticeable. The tractor bucks as it climbs up a hill. This thing is horrendous. I don't know why it's surrounded by grass either. Now at the back, I actually attempted to put this on a slightly lower, but that's the ideal point for the grade it was on. But the wagon has to be on flat ground. The fences have to be vertical, but they don't have to be square on flat land. Anyway, where do I want this stuff? I'll put this over here. We'll go and fill up with fertilizer. But that said, I probably couldn't have done any better. So but the number of issues is kind of disappointing, considering this is really only an incremental release on previous farm sim games. I also own Train Sim, and they do a release every year with tiny changes. I mean, this year was probably the biggest change they've done in the last 5 years, which was to release the code as 64-bit in addition to 32-bit. And even then, it's not that bad of a transition. I know some people have had issues. I did initially. I started the game up, I loaded a map, I engaged the throttle, and the game crashed. And I did that 3 times on the same route, and it was okay, fine. I need to wait until they fix this. But that's because I'm playing in 64-bit mode and it's a new mode, not because of anything else. I played the 32-bit and everything worked fine. And I've never had a problem with Train Sim in the last 5 years. Oops. There we go. And that's because the changes they've made are not that significant and are fairly well encapsulated in the game code. You make small improvements, you don't rewrite the code, seems to be their thing. Now, they did Train Sim World, and that was a completely new game. But not like, so obviously you expect problems with that, and I had big problems with that, especially with the PC I had at the time. I got on the beta test, and pretty much the game ran at seconds per frame instead of frames per second. And so this is unplayable on the system I have. I'm not going to bother buying it. Yeah, Train Sim World, I couldn't tell you if it was any good or not. Hey Snoop Dogg, how's it going? Yeah, if you watch this this stream regularly, you'll see I generally try and drive around the areas where the barns and the repair shop is. Just because it is so annoying. I can ground out the harvester trying to drive up past the chickens. Is that more weeds? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Ugh. No. No, not more weeds. That's good. Ugh. That's still stubble from the previous. Like the working interior and dashboard lights. Yes. For the most part. I mean, this one, there's not much of a working interior. That's kind of cool. I do like the lights reset to off. But then this is an old tractor, so there's not a lot going on the dash. The Valtra is quite impressive. I mean, the turn signals have stuff going on. You've got all the little glow of all the buttons and switches and the little computer panel. And I'm going to need to fill this tractor up with diesel. Probably immediately. Well, at least shortly. Let's take this stuff back to the yard. But yeah, it's pretty much everything is different. Yeah, each tractor is that's not going to let me work that. Okay. Back up. We selected on the tail note. There we are. I missed. Missed by a long way. Try that again. There we go. Oops, too far. Forwards, forwards, forwards. Lower. Drop. The whole thing with the lights is nice. The way it's individual light bulbs. Instead of being sort of just a glowing ball. Okay. See if I can push it with this wheel now. That's a heavy trailer. I might get a bit more leverage on that now. Or I could just run straight over it and get the tractor stuck. Okay. Not do a very good job parking that. Although... There we go. Turn that way now. That should just go straight back and behave itself. There we go. Okay, I am going to take this to the gas station. the whole rotating thing inside the flashes. You can turn the rear lights off, the flashes off, get inside. From that view, there we go. So, but yeah, it's got the potential to be a good game. I mean, I'll be interested to see what the modders do to facilitate farmyards. Or in places like Colborough Park Farm. There's 3 farms on that map, and so if you set the farmyard up right, it should be able to take any placeable in the farmyard. What was the other one I played a lot? Old Stream Farm. You've got the main farmyard area, but then there's the gated yard just up from the store, and then another large flat developable area which you can develop. Let's say that up by Field 7, and so yeah, Farm Sim 17. Those areas were very flat and intentionally flat. This tractor needs a clean too. And the lights on. So putting placeables in those areas on Old Stream, if it's anything like Farm Sim 17 version of the map, should not be too difficult. I'm figuring we probably won't see any developed for FS19 maps until around about Christmas, maybe the New Year. There's maps coming out, but they're 17 ported, and from what I understand, not particularly good quality. I've seen the startings of GPS and Courseplay out there. I don't believe they're ready. But, I never used Courseplay in 17. I did use GPS. GPS is quite good, yeah, kind of good for when you want to watch somebody else's streams or YouTube videos. And all you're doing is ploughing fields, you can switch GPS on and let it happen. Okay. Customize, yes. This over by Field 11. because that's where it's going to be needed next, assuming I can get the thing hitched. Ugh. Okay, that's all done. What are you doing? You're doing that. Actually, you're not doing anything. So we'll turn you around and run the last strip. Yeah, my deal used to be follow me. Follow me or using a helper, and yeah, if I had multiple fields to do and a couple of them were square, I'd let a helper loose on the square fields and I'd go and do the complicated one. Now, who's a common user of courseplay? Ian Robinson uses courseplay a lot, and I watched how he used it, and it's very effective. But it tends to be good on American maps or maps like Sosnovka. Because they're big and wide, there's no field boundaries that get in the way. But you play on things like Old Stream or Culborough Park, and the roads are narrow, the tractors and the whatever it is they're hauling get wrapped around the vehicles, so you have to turn the vehicles off. And then they get wrapped around telegraph poles or fence posts or stuff like that. It's just sort of... it's a battle of frustration. And I like the small maps. Or not necessarily small maps. I mean, Lawfold I've played over 4 years of seasons with it, and it's not exactly small, but it's it is a very tight map. The fields run up to the fences. You see what I mean about the placeable here. It's kind of all over the shop. Let's put that as close as we can there, and we can drop that. Yes, and I'll leave the tractor in front of it. You are done. It is 8 o'clock in the evening. This field's ready for harvest. This field's planted, and we don't have anything more to do right this minute. So since it's dark and 8 o'clock, I'm going to accelerate time, and we will wait until the morning. I'll jump out of the tractor too. And I can read stuff. Yes, you can. The issue with courseplay on fields isn't so much the workers working in the fields, because a standard helper will work in the fields. The problem is setting up Courseplay to unload stuff. Because a lot of the time you have to get through a narrow gate and make a sharp turn, and if the vehicle is not quite set up right, when it tries to repeat that maneuver, it gets all sorts of problems. I did have it installed at one point, but it was just sort of, I'm so done with this, because I drive down a lane, turn left, and there's trees on the left and there's trees on the right, and I made the turn, and then okay, there's the map, off you go, Courseplay, and it would wrap itself around a tree going around that corner. It's just, oh, come on. And you can't edit the course. You had to you pretty much had to redo it every time, and I ended up as okay, I'm done with this, I can drive this. And Courseplay is frustrating, and I'm playing a game to have fun, not a game where I'm programming a tractor to do something and it's just not playing ball. Oh, we need to pay some of that loan off or make money, one of the two. Maybe I should go and see the chickens. Hi, chickens. Oh, they're all sleeping. Cool. I wish there was a way to... Is there a way to tell? Okay. I don't know how big that gets. Oh, they don't breed. He does. So we're close to getting a new chicken. There'll be a new chicken at about 6 o'clock in the morning. But I did like, some of the stuff that Ian did was he would, whenever he was running from the farm to somewhere else, he would pick up the grain from the silo, and then he'd drive past the refueling point, so that if the tractor was low on fuel, Courseplay would stop and refuel the tractor, and I thought that was kind of cool. You can sell the eggs pretty much anywhere. Where's this? So that's all the crops and prices, just like it was in Farm Sim 17. And this here is eggs. And eggs here can be sold at the bakery in the harbour. On some maps they can be sold pretty much anywhere. Obviously not the sawmill, the spinnery or the barn, but anywhere else has the potential. What can be sold at the sugar mill? I presume sugar beets. Yes, and sugar cane. Well, there's a surprise. Okay, that's nice to know. There are high demands. I don't know if there's high demands for eggs. And here comes the sun. There goes the moon. I don't think I've got any high demands running on this one. But I've seen a few on my Ravenport game. Six o'clock in the morning. Let's drop time speed down. Let's check the map status. Still looks like they're at first stages. So that's a lime station. What's that for? Wish to go and visit the lime station. Is that somewhere I can buy lime? That's interesting. Okay. What's this thing? Some form of storage shed. I'm guessing that's lime. Well, there we go. Anyway, let's get the harvester started because we have stuff to do. And yes, closing up the harvesters, I'm having a problem with this case, which was the what was it, Tuesday morning, or Tuesday patch included the case, the Deutz, and the this map. And I can probably close the lid now, but you have to log off, and when you restart the game you can close up your harvester so long as it doesn't have anything inside it. And I'm having the same problem with the what is it, the New Holland, the tiny New Holland that is another starting harvester. Where is it? This one. I couldn't get the lid to close on that either. So K1660 axial flow, that's what I got here, that's the mod. Got one. What was the other mod that came out today? There was this thing, which I think people are going to be happy about. Oh, it was the planter, that's right. Planters. Seeders, planters. So I believe this was included in the Kun pack last year, or FarmSim 17. So we've now got that back. Anyway, let's get this job started. Yes. Yeah, all of the Giants mods I've downloaded. So I've got the Hurleyman, I've got the Case 1455. What else did they give us? The Flegel trailer, the Ursus round bale pickup trailer, and wrapper. This map. And then I went off to one of the mod sites and I downloaded the date time mod, which is shown at the top right hand side of the screen. So I know that local time is 10:30. But the last Sunday before I started, or before FarmSim 19 was released, I started a sort of how do I do seasons and selected Old Stream Farm. And my starting tractor, I decided on the Hurleyman T4i, which is quite a nice tractor. 2 years I'd never taken a second glance at it. But it's quite flexible as a first tractor. It takes a front loader. It's got wide and narrow tyres available for it. It's got 3-point hitch at the front, which can be a problem with the case tractors where you can't mount an extra tank on the front for a fertilizer for a sprayer on them. So all in all, it was quite an interesting learning experience. But we don't have the Hurleman T4i here yet, maybe. I mean, one of the options they could have gone for was, say, a New Holland T4 communal tractor with the open top and roll bar as as a small tractor. I forget what I picked for my farm sim 19 what's it, start from scratch farm. Oh no, I don't, it was an old tractor. Was it? I can't remember. No, it wasn't the Fiat. The Fiat's very cheap, but it's not very flexible. You can't put front loader on it. You can't. It doesn't have as many tyre options, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a 3-point hitch at the front. What did I pick? Oh, the Fendt Favorite. It's in small tractors. It's only 76,000, but you can get 150 horsepower on it. You've got all the wheels you need, and then some, and it'll take a front loader, and so. Very nice starting tractor. It's with the front loader, the biggest engine, so 150 horsepower. You're still only you're not even cracking $100,000 for that. Now it doesn't go very fast, but you don't necessarily need very fast when you've got something that can haul a good size cultivator, good size seeder equipment. And in my case, it was a good size, a front mower and loading wagon simultaneously. Now, most of the other small tractors are significantly more expensive and significantly less horsepower. A good choice as a starting tractor is the Valtra N, but I figured from my start from scratch, since I've got a Valtra N on every single map so far, my intention was to keep away from it. I want to use something completely different. Not going to use the Valtra N. So the Valtra N you can take up to 200 horsepower engine in that. And you've got the front loader, you've got the full set of wheel options. I mean, primarily I'm looking for narrows for when I'm doing spraying and fertilizer work, and I'm looking for regulars or with wheel weights when I'm using a front loader or any other tasks. and a front 3-point hitch, so I can run something like the Kuhn Cedar, which has the seed tank on the front and the Cedar attach on the back. I think in Farm Sim 17 there was a mod for the Favorite 300 as well, which is a little bit smaller than the 500, but still a lot of fun. I did run I think my long running old stream farm, which I can't use because I deleted some of the mods it was using, was a Fendt farm. I had the Favorite 300, Favorite 500, and a very old Fendt which had a tipper on the front where you'd normally find an engine on a modern tractor. And I used that to run around the yard and feed the animals. I think it was something like a Fendt 215A or something like that. Now, the one of the things I did do was slow down plant growth, because personally I find even normal speed plant growth is just too fast. I don't think I've done any contracts on this map so far, because I just haven't got the time between the two fields I'm doing something. Yes. In fact, I think the tipper was replaceable. You could either have a tipper or a flatbed, so you could use it as a bale trailer, tractor type thing, and or you could put a front loader on it, and the front loader mounted in the middle of the flatbed, and then you could have a tipper as well. The tipper had, tip front, tip sides. Didn't have a grain door, so there wasn't that option. But it was almost like having a sort of a tipper truck in reverse, because you faced forward looking at the tipper bed. And so drive into the barn, load it with whatever, hay, straw, and then drive off to the animal pen and just tip it straight in. And much easier to use than a tractor and trailer in such a tight farmyard. A lot of the time with the smaller farms, I'm looking for equipment that attaches to a 3-point hitch or is part of the vehicle, as opposed to a trailed item. Let's see if I can find it. No, I got the it's not a 215A, was it a 315? No, it wasn't that either. I do not recall what it was, but yeah, funny little tractor. Sitting next to an ice machine. Oh no, that's my wife's getting a drink. I have the office door open, which goes straight into the... Oh, good. No, 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 no. Do not destroy crops. Bad, bad. Yeah, the office opens out straight into the kitchen. So... well spotted, that man. Hello. There we go. I do like this tipper as a starting piece of equipment. It has 4 configurations. The base one is 4,000 litre tipper. You can then extend the sides to 8,000 litres, which has what I've got here, and optionally add a cover. And then you can go to 12,000 litres, adding another set of side panels, but at that point the tipper isn't, or the cover isn't optional anymore. It comes with. Or you can take all the sides off and use it as a small bale trailer. You can carry what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, maybe 12 bales on it if you're careful. Or you can use it to ship stuff back from the store, pallets back from the store. So it's quite flexible, and once you've configured it into one of the options, you can change it back and forth quite freely. So I configured mine as an 8,000 litre tipper. I can convert it to the bale trailer for free. I could even convert it to a 4,000 litre tipper if I wanted to, but I tend to go with 8s and 8,000 litres and flatbed. It's also kind of useful as a transport contract trailer. Just in case you have 2 pallets to move instead of just the one. I don't know. I guess some of the smaller harvesters are less than 4,000 litres. This one's 6,400, so I kind of need 8,000 litres. Or 4,000 litres isn't sufficient. But I used to use small trailers and what was it? Farm Sim 17 to feed pigs, because they don't eat much, but they eat a lot of different things. So having a small trailer, I don't, let's sort of, let's think. I've probably got about Oh, I've got about 100 pigs on law folds, and they eat about 3,000 litres of corn and 1,500 of wheat or barley and 1,500 of soybeans, sunflowers or canola. And so I don't need a huge trailer. I just need something small that I can move small amounts of food in, and if I accidentally fill it up to the top, I'm not carting 8,000 litres around the farm with me. What's the Comia C6? Oh, the what is it? The Sampo Rosenlu, whatever it was. I'm thinking maybe not. I don't think we'll see that one again, because we've got the Bison, we've got the old New Holland, and we've also got this case as well. Although that said, they did bring back the Tiny Hurleyman, which was the cheapest tractor. So it's possible they might. I must admit, when it came to harvesters, small harvesters, obviously I've used this one in Farm Sim 17 because it's what came with most of the starting equipment. But I tended to go with either the 25-foot Massey or Fendt tractors. The Fendt was the first Giants mod that was added to Farm Sim 17, and effectively the Massey Ferguson painted green, functionally pretty similar. And then when they were released, I would use the Class Dominator. It was a good harvester to use on Oldstream Farm, because the header was literally as wide as the harvester. You could fit it pretty much anywhere on that map. So I never really looked at the Comia C6 at all. Maybe I should have done. Okay, I'm going to stick this on a worker and go and grab some water. I'll be back in a second. honestly not sure if there is an official list of all the mods that Giants did for 17. The Fent Harvester Pack was released by Giants. It was the first official mod on the mod hub for 17, as far as I recall. And like I said, it was basically the Massey Ferguson painted green, with exactly the same header, pretty much exactly the same grain capacity and fuel tankage and horsepower. And they made really nice mid-range harvesters, because you sort of start off with one of Lee's, you live with it for as long as you can, and then you say, okay, I've got $200,000, I'm going to get myself a medium harvester. And I think part of the problem with the equipment range in 17 was you had a small case and a small New Holland, and then you had a huge case and a huge New Holland, but you didn't have any cases or New Hollands in the mid-range. That was the Massey Ferguson of the included in the game at the start options. Now later on I used, for a big harvester, I would use the class Lexion 700. Because it wasn't a New Holland and it wasn't a case, and it was about time for something different. As far as I know, with mods, Giants will produce mods for the first week or so, and they're pretty much equipment that you would sit there, you would look at it, and you say, well, why didn't you release with this in the game? And one of the reasons that they did that is probably, we've got a mod, it's ready to go on day one, and we can have folks test out the mod hub. I think this is soybeans. Or no, is it soybeans or something? It's almost gone. Of course I could have looked in. I think it's canola. That's canola, that's soybean. I just planted soybeans there. And of course I can look at the little diagram over there which says canola. So that's canola. Which is why I'm not getting any straw. And I will intentionally produce the straw, because there's no point not doing that. And 21,000 litres of straw is worth about $1,800, and it's no point wasting it. But obviously they need to test that the mod hub's working. So if they spend their first week releasing mods on the mod hub, their guys and the general public can go out there, download mods, and just make sure it works for them. And then, a little bit later, the modding community will start producing mods, and one of the things we know is, will at least the mod hub work, so we don't have to worry about, some guy gives you a new mod and, oh, now we've got to test whether the mod hub works. Not good practice. And typically a company's QA team is not exceptionally large. I mean, I've worked in companies where the QA team was 50 people, but that's 50 people for everything they produce. And within those 50 people, there's probably 10 different teams. One of them will know warehousing, one of them will know inventory, one of them will know order entry, one of them will know purchasing. And so, you've got a team of, you've got a team of 5 people that can test something. But there's not a lot of things that 5 people can test rigorously and say, yeah, this is going to work 100% of the time. A lot of the times you'll write code and there will be bugs in it. And so someone, the first time you find out that something's not working is usually somebody else in the business, or us playing a game. We'll discover far more errors far more quickly than a QA team can, because we're all doing lots of different things, and the more different things people are doing, the more stuff gets effectively tested. Okay, we want to do that's canola. Sort my stuff. We want to go to the bakery. And looks like the bakery's in town. So let's jump back into the harvester and turn that off. Turn it off. Oh, to heck with it. Let's close that off. The front down. And drive down there, and I will stick a helper on for the last little bit. Meanwhile, let's go to the store. Yeah, something someone pointed out to me the other day was, how do I know what's in it? Why don't I look at the icon on the load bar next to the speedometer? Sort of, oh yeah. I pretend it does, even using seasons it doesn't, back in Farm Sim 17. But all the tipper trailers I had in Farm Sim 17 had a cover, so I could always cover them over if there was bad weather. I'd use an open top tipper for things like wood chips, because they're going to get wet. But what are you going to do with wood chips? Spread them around your yard, make your flower beds look nice, and they get wet. So having them get wet in the back of a trailer, not such a big a deal. That's another reason why I don't use this trailer in the 4,000 litre mode, because the 4,000 litre doesn't come with a cover. The 8,000 can come with a cover. Oh, and the thing is, my long-running farm in 17 was Lawfolds, which is, I think it was produced in January of 2017. So literally 2-3 months after the game was produced. And I think the map maker retired at that point. because once he got it working, he never made another mod since then. And so when Seasons came out, was it end of 2017, early 2018, the map was never modified. Now, if you play Seasons in Farm Sim 17 on a map that's not modified for it, then what happens is you cannot leave loose straw or hay anywhere, because if it rains, it will be destroyed even if it's in a barn. Whereas if the map was Seasons ready, straw and hay in a barn is safe. Straw and hay on fields will rot even if it's baled. Now, on Lawfolds, bales are safe no matter where I put them, so I can drive a tractor around with a baler, bale up all the hay and straw, and leave it out in the fields, and it would never be destroyed because the map wasn't Seasons prepared. However, that's not the what do you call it? That's not in the spirit of things. So even though it's safe, I didn't treat it as such. So as soon as I'd baled stuff up, it was straight under shelter, because rain destroys hay and straw. And so I made sure my hay and straw was safe, even though, as far as the game was concerned, they were safe, even out in the middle of a field. Which way am I tipping? Oh, I'm tipping backwards. Forage, no, regular harvesters. The Bison has a 3,540 litre tank. The New Holland has 5,600. The Rustle Mash only has 45. That has 8,600. Oh, don't we get... We don't get a bigger Massey. So all we've got is 7347. That's interesting. I think that has replaced the larger Massey. Let's back up and look at headers. So that's the free flow 25 footer, which is 7.6 meters. Oh, that's only 7.6 as well. Darn, seriously? That's 9. I think 9 meters is about a 35 foot. So we're looking at Rustle Mash. Dynaflex is 12. Yeah, well, I can't afford big harvesters yet, so I'm not going to worry too much about them. Convert your save file into a Seasons ready map. You can, okay, you can add Seasons to an existing game save in Farm Sim 17. However, when you install Seasons and start the game up, I believe it resets everything to the first day in spring. So it will destroy all the crops on the fields, resets the fields to, I think just cultivated, although they may not even be cultivated, they may be just harvested. So you'll need to go out and plough, cultivate, seed every field that you own. I think everything else runs pretty straightforward. All your grass will be destroyed down to 0 growth because it's the first day in spring and winter destroys grass. So the entire map is reset to effectively 0. You're starting every field from scratch. Grains in silos are safe. So if you're going to convert a map from regular to seasons, I would suggest you grow all of your crops, harvest them all, either sell the harvest or put it in a silo, and then select the seasons mod. And you should be okay. But because it's a mod, it's just a matter of when the game loads, it says, hey, here's a list of all the mods you have available, which ones do you want to select for this game? And it will then copy, so all you have to do is say, yeah, I want seasons, and it will it resets the map. What you own is what you own, but there's no crops on any fields. And off you go. It's the first day of spring, get out there and make some money. Personally, I tend to start a game with seasons running because it's just better that way. I get the impression that when Daggerwin is doing a YouTube series that uses seasons, what he'll do is he will load all the mods he wants except seasons, and he'll spend a couple of hours buying the equipment he wants and getting everything set up, making sure his animals that he's transferring from another farm have all transferred across successfully, and then he turns on seasons. Because what he doesn't want to do is spend 4 or 5 game hours buying equipment, moving it, making sure everything is okay and everything's put away in the right place, and then he's still got to get out there and harvest everything. I thought Giants updated Goldcrest so it was seasons ready anyway. I could be wrong, but I was under the impression that part of the changes that Giants did to enable seasons to run on the consoles was to make sure all the maps were seasons ready. Effectively, all they have to do is to add what's called a snow mask to the map, and that's used in one of 2 ways. One is to say, if it's snowing, it snows inside the building just like it rains inside the building, but the snow mask basically tells seasons that on this section of the map you cannot put snow on the ground. And by doing that, my goodness, I actually closed the lid on the harvester. I wonder if that got patched. What you're basically saying is you sweep the yard of snow, but you don't sweep inside the barns. So that's the first effect of the snow mask. The second effect of the snow mask is to say, if you have straw or hay within the area defined by the snow mask, then do not destroy it. If it's outside of the area of the snow mask, hay and straw gets destroyed whether it's baled or loose. Now if it's stored in a mod like a bale shed or the hayloft, I think we have the hayloft still. Where's the... oh, silos. This thing here. This was available in 17. It allows you to store loose hay and straw. You drop it in here and it goes inside, and there's a little pipe on this side that unloads into a trailer. Now anything put in one of those was safe. And typically the area of a barn plus possibly the roof overhang. So for example, if I was doing a snow mask on this, I would probably go out maybe with where that weight is, to the left side where it, where the weight is. The snow mask might start just to the left of it and completely surround the roof of the shed. So if you drew a straight line from the top of the shed down where the roof ends, that would define the area of the snow mask. And that's effectively what Seasons was, and how it communicated with what happened on a map. So that's still running. I don't want... that's the wrong line. There we go. Let's check that the... this is canola. We're still going to the bakery. Okay. Where am I? Where am I going? There. Okay. And I think for the most part, most Mac makers said, if you want to start Seasons game, our map is ready for Seasons, but you should probably start a brand new save game rather than continuing the one you've got. However, there's nothing really to stop you just adding Seasons as a mod to an existing farm and now playing with Seasons. These tracks stay on the map for a long time. And I kind of like playing with Seasons. One of the things with it is that the crops grow at a standard rate, but if you have a 6-day season, you're pretty much going to be waiting 12 days before your crop matures to harvest level. But there's so much other stuff to do. The problem with even with this on slow plant growth, I don't really have time to do any of the contracts that are out there, because I've just finished preparing and planting field 12, and field 11's ready, and now I've got to do all the preparing and what have you on field 11, and by the time I finish that, field 12's going to be ready. And with Seasons, you can say, okay, well, rather than having a 3-day season, I'll go for a 6-day season, and you've got substantially more time to get the work done. You've also got substantially more time during winter in which to sit around, feed animals, and not do much of anything. Okay, so the corn header, I believe, runs at about 7 miles an hour working speed. The sunflower header allows you to harvest a lot quicker. I believe there's still a sunflower header on this. So, for example, okay, this is a regular, let's call it a cereal header. You've got the oats, the barley, the wheat, the canola, and the soybeans. And it has a 6 mile an hour operating speed. So does the New Hollands, so does the Rostel Mash. This is a sunflower header. Does sunflowers only, and this has an operating speed of 9 miles an hour. That's 50% faster. Another regular header, 6 miles an hour. Same with that. Same with that. I think this is another corn header. Sorry, sunflower header. Yes, it is. 9 miles an hour. And then all the rest are regular cereal header. Now, if we go and look at the corn headers, again, 6 miles an hour operating. Excuse me, I'm going to have a drink. A 6 mile an hour operating speed, and you can do sunflowers and corn. And the same would be true of all of the corn headers. They don't do any more crops than just the corn and the sunflowers, but they're limited to 6 miles an hour when they're operating. So if you're going to grow sunflowers and not corn, then get yourself a sunflower header, because you can drive the harvester 50% faster. You're going to clear the field 50% faster. It's a good deal. Especially if the only reason you're planting corn is to put it into a silage clamp and turn it into silage. Okay, you're going to need a forager and a corn header on the forager. You're not growing corn for food. You don't need a regular harvester header for the corn. Now, if you're going to grow everything, then yeah, get a corn header, because you're going to need to harvest corn. There is an argument to be made that it's not worth buying the sunflower header because that's an extra cost, and you already have a header that can cut the sunflower. It just doesn't cut it as quickly. I don't think it does give extra yield. It's just a speed thing. Which, hey, sometimes that's important. Let's see if I can reverse this up a little better than last time. Yay, we're in the middle. Yay, we can undo that. I didn't pay attention to how much we got for the last load. Nearly 7,000. That's kind of okay. Of course, what I should have done was to put the front loader forks on this thing. Maybe take some stuff back from the shop. I'm on the wrong road. There we go. That's sorted out that problem. So it is 10:15 on whatever morning it is here. It's a nice sunny morning with clouds forecast for later in the day. We have money. And in my world, it's 11:30 at night. So I think I'm going to run this tractor back up to our yard and go to sleep and miss the MPV. One thing I was considering was buying field 10. That's 250,000. That's a lot. How much is that? Oh, that's 466, and it has a good number of trees on it. That has trees on too. Okay, 251, and I have 84. What's on it? It kinda looks like nothing. It looks like withered. These ones look like they're cultivated. But that's kind of the next logical field to buy. I may look into chopping down some of these trees. There's at least all of those. That makes money. And we've all got all the equipment we need just right in front of us. Yes and no. Yes, a baler packs up 4,000 litres of straw into a nice tight bundle, and you can load it on the back of a trailer of some description or the bale pickup trailer, and you can take a lot of it to market. I mean, even the basic trailer, where is it? Baling Technologies. Baling Technologies. There. Okay. This thing here is a round bale pickup trailer. It picks up the bales in that fork and then lifts them onto the back of the trailer. You can carry 12 bales on that. That's 48,000 litres. Sorry, 8 bales on that. That's 32,000 litres on that trailer, and the trailer costs 39,000. Back. Loading wagons. This is 23,000. This is 32. This is very expensive compared with that pickup trailer. The problem is you have to factor in another 49,000 for the baler. So if you're poor and cheap and don't have enough money for everything, I'll buy one of those. That's cheaper than a baler. It only carries 23,000 litres, which is just under 6 bales worth of straw. But yeah, it gets the job done, and it doesn't leave you with no money left. However, if you're based up where I am and you had to take straw down to the bakery or the spinnery, then yeah, I'd take a bale trailer. It's a lot quicker in the long term. I think what's it? The first place I consciously decided not to use a baler was on Old Stream Farm the first time I played it, and the premise was the fields are small, so there's not much more than 3 bales worth of straw or hay on a field, or grass for that matter. So I don't need a baler. What I need is to take everything that's on the field back to the farm, and that's less than a small loading wagon worth of stuff. So I figured it's cheaper to use a loading wagon. Not only that, but it was really nice that the mods who created Old Stream, you could put grass, hay and straw in the standard in the farm silo. So it was easier to just dump the stuff in the silo to bale it up because there wasn't enough place to store a significant number of bales. So why would you? And but with law folds, I got ample storage space. The silos don't. Oh, I've really messed this up. The silos don't do straw or hay. I would have to buy a hay loft, and unfortunately, law folds isn't particularly well set up for placeables. I mean, literally everything is either farmyard with barns already on it, or it's fields. And you would have to say, I'm going to put stuff on that field, and I'm going to plough that field in and basically turn it into a storage yard. And because of that, I'm not going to bother buying a hayloft to put the stuff in. So ample storage for bales. I baled everything, and initially I started off with round bales because the round balers are cheaper. The round bale pickup trailer is cheaper, but eventually I bought square bales because square bales don't roll down hills, which was a constant problem on law folds, and they're easier to stack. But the downside with the square bales is the equipment is more expensive, and you need a bigger tractor to run it with. That's in 17. In 19, it's the same price. 4,000 litres of straw is the same value whether it's baled or loose. So yeah, there were what was it? Loose material in Farm Sim 17 had a variable price. It could go up and down, but bales were a fixed rate, and the fixed rate was based on whether you were playing in easy, medium or hard mode. You would get less money for a bale in hard mode, but then you would get less money for loose straw and hay in hard mode. But it's for simplicity and what you're trying to do with it. You could take grass, wrap it and sell silage bales, or you could take grass, throw it in a silage clamp and cover it up and say, there, I've got some silage brewing, and then sell it. Functionally it's the same thing, and that's a lot of what I did on law folds. Was on Old Stream Farm, was if I didn't need the grass to feed sheep or cows now this minute, I'd throw it in the silage clamp, and then when I had 1 million litres in there, I'd cover it over and then ship it off to the BGA and sell it. So sometimes the decisions are, how big is the field? How many bales is it going to produce? How many partial bales am I going to end up wasting because I can't produce a full one? And do I have anywhere to put the bales, or am I going to have to sell them immediately? Now, if my game is I'm going to make bales and sell them, buy a baler and sell the bales. But if you want to feed your animals with them, then it comes down to what's the most efficient way to store this stuff. And with Old Stream, I can store it in the silo. In law folds, I can't store it in the silo. So that's part of the decision. Anyway, it's late. Still 11:30. We're all good here. Equipment needs to be washed and stuff. The other thing I need to check is that's the sprayer, 58%. So everything's 58% or better. so I don't really have to worry too much about stuff. We've now got 150 litres of chicken stuff. Let's jump out of the tractor and go look at the chickens. Excuse me, combine harvester. Thank you. There is still only one box. I want to know how big a box can get. We should have 12 chickens. Yay, we have 12 chickens. And we need to sweep up their stuff. Still a lot of contracts to do. Not that I've got any time to do them. Okay, let's save that. So, thank you for watching. My day off is tomorrow. I'll be back streaming on Thursday with playing this farm again. You load the eggs by hand into the back of a truck or other thing. Back. Vehicles, cars. You can put stuff in the back of this. Let's rotate it round. So you can fit egg cartons in the back of that, no trouble. And you can fit egg cartons in the back of that, no trouble. And they're light enough, you can pick them up by hand. So, no big deal. Okay, anyway, have fun, and I will see anybody who wants to turn up again on Thursday. I think I've got this scheduled for 8 PM. And then Friday 7 PM we should be playing multiplayer with Arthur. And I'll tell you all about that on Thursday. Have a good evening and a good day tomorrow. Good night.